How you doing? Brandon Redmond here, P2J number 47316. We're representing Latitude 64 and Celestial Discs, also my club, Gone Discin'. Give you guys a 2024 in the bag for myself. My bag has changed a little bit. The last time I did it in the bag, I think it was 2019, so it's been quite a few years, and the bag has definitely changed some. So, here she is, the bag. Zuka AT cart. I've had this going on 8 years now. Surprisingly, she's in very, very good shape, all things considered. I've only had to replace the pole, but everything else is pretty much from the day I got her. She's very sun faded, but tried and true, can handle everything I need to carry, and having a cart is fantastic. Love having that cart aspect and being able to carry everything I want to without having the strain on my back. The only real modifications I've done to it is I went with PVC cup holders, which I'm kind of thinking I might reach out to a few buddies of mine and see if I can't get something 3D printed, alleviate some weight, because they do add a decent amount of weight, especially when I have both water bottles in there as well. And I used to have the Zuka putter pouch. I actually this is a slim bag from Latitude 64 and modified them to hold my putters. I wanted something that I could close up, and during rainy days, my putters were protected, so that's a modification to it there. So let's start with putters. So first things first, putting putters. I have a Zero Medium Mercy. It's my primary putter. I like the medium plastic. Then it's a firm rim but a soft fight plate. I really like the fact that it's good grip in just about any weather conditions. Medium Mercy. I have a Zero Hard Mercy. This is what I use typically for tailwind putts, longer putts. You're going to get a little bit extra glide out of the hard plastic that I would with the medium. So that's what I'm using. And then an OG slammer. Not a Saki Bound slammer, but an OG slammer. They're out of production now, but I do have, I think like maybe a dozen. So this one gets utilized for headwind putts, a lot of uphill putts, a lot of downhill putts, where I know it's a consistent flight, but I can bank on that. So a dozen sitting in a backup bag at home, I don't really have to worry too much about needing a new disc now that this one's out of production. This is the blend, plastic blend, so very similar to the exact same plastic as the Zero Medium, so I have that nice consistent grip. We go into the bag and we stick with putters. We have a Goldline Mercy. It's my overstable Mercy. This one I've had for quite a few years in the bag, and she's just taken forever to beat up, which is fantastic. It's actually the Dymax Goldline, which most of us know it does have more overstability for some reason than that white. I have an Opto Mercy. So my Opto Mercy is my straight one, something I can rely on, maybe a little hyzer flip up or a jet straight tunnel shot, things like that. Something where I know I'm not going to have a ton of fade, or if I need a little bit more glide out of my throwing putter, that's important. I have a Retro Mercy. My Retro Mercy is my approach putter, it's my turnover putter, something for little tight hyzer flips, forehand touch approaches, things like that nature. Tailwind, and I have a Cenis SP. This one, not this one particularly, but this molding has been in my bag for a very, very long time. I swear by the Cenis, it's a fantastic pattern. It is, unfortunately, the speed is out of production, but they do still make the Cenis. It's just now in the Zero plastics, the hard, medium, and soft. I swear by the SP, these things can take such a beating, and they last in their stability for so long. So, see this fantastic, good, solid, overstable throw for that. More utility. So in terms of utility, I have a few. Bag an Opto Trident. OG Latitude guys know what they need to know about the Trident. It's a very unique disc. There's not really much anything like it on the market. fantastic. Throw it forehand, backhand, cut rollers, overhands, grenades. Like, this is an all-around fantastic boat to just do just about anything. I currently have 2 Saviors in the bag. So I have the Royal Grand and the Royal Sense. The Sense is probably the newest disc to my bag. I was curious about the putter plastic in something like this overstable approach disc. I've never been like a big zone or harp kind of guy, but this disc, this mold, allowing me for like touchier forehands. A lot of times I would have to use either my Trident to dial it down, or utilize overstable mid-range, and just wasn't quite the same. So having something like this in the bag is game changer. I use it a lot actually. And the Sense is something that I get a little bit more glide out of, a little bit less fade out of, a lot less skip overall. So if I need that kind of little touchier forehand approach, keep this in the bag and pull out the Sense. Going into mid-ranges. Bag 4 mid-ranges. We're going understable to overstable. Goldline fuse. Fantastic amount of glide on this disc. Goldline is one that I throw. A lot of my bag is heavier towards opto level stuff, but the fuse is one that I've always thrown in Goldline. I do have some optos, and they work just fine. Something about the Goldline fuse I just really enjoy. I have 2 cores. These are old cores. This is, oh perfect, I actually have 2 different. So this is the first run opto with the large logo in the middle, and this is the second run opto. It's a little smaller, drop it down a little bit. These are the two runs that I sought after. I have probably like 25, 30 cores at home. So this one's a little bit more beat up. This is more like my hyzer flipper. More like I get some movement out of this one. This is my more overstable version, so I can just hammer this one flat. I'm not a huge proponent of multiples of discs in a bag, but there's a few that I do carry that way now. I've been a bigger proponent of just like one disc, one shot. People look at me and think like, oh, how do you ever know? Well, I let that kind of the disc do the decision making for me. So I don't have to worry about like, should I throw the slightly overstable one or should I throw like the slightly understable one? No, I pretty much just grab. Newer to the bag as of last year is the Supreme Fugitive. I was a big Verdict guy for a long time. From the Verdict, I went to, I forget now what it was. But I never fully clicked with the Verdict. It was something that I liked, but the flight just always wasn't 100% what I wanted. I'm not a big bead guy, so this is one of the very, very few discs that I have in my bag that's beaded, but I don't really feel it. It doesn't really bother me. And this flight is exactly what the prototype Verdicts were. It's exactly the flight that I'm looking for, something that I can throw backhand or forehand, and if I need to, I can get a little bit of rise out of it, but it never actually gets away from me. And Justice. It's a disc that I never thought I would really use, but there's no denying what this disc is capable of. Everybody should have a Justice in their bag. It's just the pure overstability of it, the workability of it, to know that it's pretty much always going to come out of whatever you put it on. It's fantastic. Scrambling. Go on to fairway drivers. Fairway drivers, bag, and Opto Pioneer. Enough said. It's your typical 9-speed, overstable, fantastic for forehands. The Royal Grand Honor. It's something that kind of found its way in my bag by accident. I used to throw a long bowman. Long bowman, I really like the flight, but I always seem to sacrifice a little bit of distance. Long bowman doesn't have the same sort of glide as the honor does. And trying out the honor, I found out very quickly it's the exact same disc almost to me in terms of flights and stuff like that, but I get that extra like 30, 40 feet of distance that I was losing with the long bowman. So that was immediately there. I have 2 strikers. So Like I said, I don't usually do multiples of molds, but there are a few molds in my bag that I do have multiples of. 2 strikers. This is an older Opto one. This one's pretty seasoned, a little bit lighter weight. This is my turnover, this is my hyzer flip, this is my tailwind. A striker is an underrated mold. It is so incredibly point and shoot. It's very comfortable in the hand, being an 8-speed. Very clean release. Fantastic disc. And then this is another newer one. This is an Opto Ice. So the ice plastic, similar to like Opto X, VIP X, that kind of thing. It's an overstable plastic blend. So the difference is, though, with the X blends, they're very, very stiff, like hard. With the ice blend, you actually still get a little bit of that pliability out of the disc, but you get that little bit of overstability. I love the feel of it. It reminds me of old Opto from like 2010, 2011, 2012. So toss this in the bag to give it a try, and really, really like the overstable counterpart to my other striker. And then the bag hatchet. This one's new this year only because I wanted to try out the VIP Ice Orbit. As we know, then the Ice has a little bit of extra stability to it. Orbit's just pretty as hell. It's fantastic. Love my hatchet. Big turnovers, rollers, forehand turnovers, all that kind of stuff. It's fantastic for me. I guess this is another utility, but it's fairway driver. Criminal, Opto Criminal, does not get used very often. If I feel like I need a Pioneer flight, but the Pioneer isn't going to give me quite the distance necessarily, I'll go with the Criminal. It's got just a little bit sharper again. Distance on it. Make our way into distance drivers now. We'll do low speeds distance drivers. I bag 2 muskets. Similar concept to my strikers. This is an Opto Ice musket. This is a regular Opto musket. My hyzer flipper, my understable, get shift out of it, get movement out of it, get glide out of it. I do bag 3 Graces. Grace I've kind of fallen in love with. It's a fantastic mold, super easy to throw. I have the Player of the Year from 2022, which is understable. I have the 2-time World Champion one from 23. It's my stable one. And then I have the 2022 World Champ one, which is the overstable one. Very overstable one. I mean, self-explanatory. If you know the Grace, you know exactly why I bagged that. We'll go into high speeds. High speeds are. Now, mind you, I do have a couple like extra stuff in the bag right now, because I don't normally throw it, but I'm kind of just having it right now for backup purposes. Opto Bolt, insane glide, super easy to throw, understable, big turns, rollers, all that kind of stuff. Opto Bolt. I have 2 ballistas. So I have a regular gold line ballista. This one's a little beat up. This is my understable ballista. Really nice rollers with it. Hyzer flip dead straight shots. Big turning, like S-flight stuff. Then the bolt is going to hold that turn a little bit longer. I'm going with this. Opto Ice Orbit ballista, similar to like my muskets and my strikers. It's a little bit more overstable, holds up a little bit more life into it. It's pretty much like my go-to overall driver. At the moment, I do have 3 Ballista Pros, but typically, like this one wouldn't be in the bag. It's been pretty windy spring here, so that's why this is in the bag right now. This is a Gold Line Special Edition. This run of Ballista Pros were very, very overstable. So I'm going to get something that's really overstable, but I'm still going to get the glide of a Ballista Pro. Really like that one. My normal Gold Line Ballista Pro is pretty much overall just an overstable ballista for me at this point. Just a little bit more overstable that I can count on it, not necessarily getting like into a turn. It's going to hold flat. Really nice forehand flip ups. Gold Line Ballista Pro. And then an Opto Ballista Pro. This is like my overstable Ballista Pro. This is the normal one in the bag. I can usually get a lot of things done now with this one. where I don't need the special edition gold line. So there we have that. And then also right now in the bag, due to the wind situation with our spring, I do have an opto stiletto, like one of the most overstable things ever created. If you've ever thrown a stiletto, you know exactly what I mean. And then I do have an opto gladiator. Again, not necessarily something I always have in my bag. It's just it's overstable right now. We've had pretty windy days, so that's that one. And then probably the one that gets talked about the most whenever I do throw it. This is Latitude Opto Bite. This is such a stroke saver, such a fun disc to throw. It's great for warm-ups and everything like that at the beginning of rounds, toss it around with your friends. But as far as an approach disc, to me, there's really nothing else better than it. But if you throw things like the Glitch or the Sonic or the Alien, things that are those like catch frisbees, just the effortless power or the effortless distance that you get with like super low power just wants to float. If I'm outside like my normal like comfortable jump putting range where I'm not necessarily looking to just approach and I actually want to try to give it a shot, that's when this comes out. Through woods, patent pendings, like small tight confined spaces where I can't get like a full arm swing, I know I can just kind of get this on a little snap and I can cover 100 feet like it's nothing. So love having my bite in my bag. So there you have it. Aside from, you know, assorted towels and maybe some snacks and stuff like that, that is my 2024 in the bag. Once again, thank you to my sponsors, Latitude 64, Celestial Discs. Shout out to my club, Gone Disc and Stony. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care. Go well.